Shore Break Sounds.
Welcome to Over the Falls podcast, episode number 64. This week, we're joined by Olly Davey, founder of Heartwood Saunas. We talk about his upbringing, his journey into carpentry, starting and running a business, his future plans, and of course, plenty of sauna chat along the way. Here we go. Are you from around these parts then, Olly?
Yeah, so I was born in Aberystwyth. I grew up in Heartwood Estate.
Yeah.
Went to school in Tregaron. So yeah, I've always been around the area. My parents moved here from London area in the late 70s, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, always been around the area. Grew up here, grew up in the Heartwood. And I did that thing where you kind of go away when you can, 18 onwards.
Yep.
Yeah. Traveled around. And I think when I was younger, I was like, I'm not going to live here. It's wet, it's cold, it's miserable all the time. And you kind of go away and you do that traveling thing, and you kind of tick those boxes, and then suddenly you're like, it's actually pretty good at home.
Yeah,
it's actually amazing.
You see it in a different light, and that's what happened for me. I was like, yeah, this actually is what I need. It's good.
And were you always sort of hands-on, or were you good academically as well? Or
no, I was a terrible academic. I think.
Okay.
I was very much more hands-on. I think because of the upbringing we had a lot of emphasis on like creativity, and like grew up in the middle of the forest essentially. So kind of worked with wood, made things, made dens, and we all played out together. So it was very much like exposed outdoors, and that was just like our way of like not being bored, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It was good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great way to grow up, really.
Definitely.
We had a lot of freedom, for sure. Like we were home, so I'm one of five. I'm second youngest, and we were home educated until I was about 12 or 13.
No way.
So did you go to secondary school only then? So home education for sort of like what people would do primary?
Yeah.
And then you went to Tregaron.
Went to Tregaron like halfway through year 7.
Okay. What was that like that contrast from home education right into the secondary school? What was that like?
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock at the time, for sure. Like you go from this like home education space where your friends and family are around. We were taught in a mini school of like 12 of us in home ed. And then you're moving into like, actually Tregaron's quite a small school, but it felt massive. It was like 350 people, and the whole like culture of school, it was very new. Didn't really know that many people there. I went there because I knew 1 or 2 people from the village that I'd play out with and that sort of thing. But yeah, it was a big shock, and I struggled with it. That like maybe social anxiety, I think, was a big part. Just being in a classroom, like speaking up in class or like reading in front of everyone. I was like, I was not comfortable doing that.
I can imagine, yeah.
So it took me a long time to be comfortable and come out of my skin in school, I think.
I bet there's a lot of positives that came from the home education as well, though, because it can't all be negative,
Yeah, I think it was hard. Like you had to like make your own fun. You had to like, I had to ride to places. Like if you want to go see your mates in the village, we were 3 miles from any other house. So you'd take your bike and you'd ride there, and then you'd ride back at the end of the day. Or like you'd always have to create your own thing. Mum and dad did their best to like, drive us all around, but there's 5 of us from all different ages. So it was kind of like you were kind of left to your own devices a little bit, which actually I think now looking back, it's like an element of like resourcefulness and like resilience, and it's all stuff that's making quite a big difference in later life, I think.
Why did they decide to homeschool you then? Was there any particular reason? It's quite a big task, isn't it?
I think there was in the early. How I understand it was maybe when I was 3 to 4, and my older siblings, they didn't get on well in the primary schools that were available. There was a bit of bullying, and they just weren't a good fit.
Fair enough.
So it was almost like a convenience thing, but also wanting to give that. The reason they moved to West Wales was to give their kids like a new way of like working, and like they moved out the city, so it was very like conventional. This is how you go through life, and you get a good job, and you do this and you do this. Whereas they were quite interested in like giving their kids like a new start, like
the opposite of different life.
Awesome.
Very different to what they grew up with.
Yeah.
Probably very good for your creativity, because like you probably thought you were bored, so then you have to create your own fun and entertain yourself. So I bet that was quite good from a creative standpoint for yourself,
I think it's really important not to like steal boredom, because although in the moment you're bored, but you're doing a process and you're like working things out and you're coming up with solutions and like you're making your own fun. So yeah, for sure. I think when I think to like back to how my parents brought us up, it's like creativity was a really big, a real big part of it.
That's really good. So then going through Tregaron School, then did you go into carpentry like later on in your teens, or was that the
I started working with wood and carpentry in home ed basically. We were fortunate enough there was a group of like 12 of us at the maximum. So my dad would work away to afford a teacher to come and teach us individual subjects. So we'd do the curriculum stuff, but then a lot of emphasis on making. So I was lucky enough to have like a woodwork teacher. And it was just his hobby, and I would go work one-on-one with him. I think it was a day a week or 2 mornings a week or something. So I'd be picking up that kind of skills and techniques from quite an early age. And then in school, I kind of naturally flourished at like the design technology element, so it kind of progressed from there.
And you took to it well. You enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think so. I just felt really comfortable doing it, and I had loads of ideas. I've always like been a bit creative and like design. Coming up with new ideas, like even early days kind of mountain biking and stuff, we'd always be like trying to think of like North Shore structures or bridges or big drops or something we could do, all made out of wood. And it's kind of just the way we were kind of being creative, I suppose.
So you went down the apprenticeship route?
I didn't do an apprenticeship. No, okay. I'm not formally trained as a carpenter. I guess it's always been just like something I've done.
A passion, almost.
Yeah.
Sometimes
exactly.
I think that's potentially better though, because that's generally what you're passionate about, not necessarily something just to do to like pay your bills.
Yeah, I think so, and I think maybe I was quite ambitious in like the projects that I wanted to do, and it doesn't really fit inside like a standard carpentry apprenticip style, like architraves, doors, hinges.
Hang 8
I was
doors.
like, I want to build a suspended tree house, or I want to build like a cantilever deck over this edge, or I remember doing. I did Saturday Club in Coding training. I think it was. Back then.
I know the one. Yeah,
and it was very much like you could design this thing and make it. And I was probably a pain for the guy running the class, because I'd be like, I want to design this bike, like recumbent bicycle made out of wood, and he'd just be like, okay, we probably could do that, but it's going to take a bigger project than what the time you've got here. So, so there's always a bit of that.
Yeah, it's forward thinking though, isn't it?
Yeah,
you're always like one step ahead almost.
Yeah. I think I've always been really interested in that like progression of things, and like actually it's a big challenge, or like if it's hard, it's kind of interesting.
So what was one of the first things you built that you were like really proud of?
Good question. Probably goes back quite early, but there's been loads of stuff along the way. Like I think I remember. So we didn't have electricity for a long time when we were younger. So I think it was 12. I think it was about 12 when we got electricity in the house.
No way.
So we were all off grid.
Oh my god!
No way.
It was all of a generator once we got electricity, and they're still off grid now.
Wow.
No way.
But I remember getting an angle grinder for I think it's my birthday. And which is quite an ambitious present to give a 12-year-old.
Here's some goggles.
Just
and then that as well.
And I would basically just like, Dad had an old Land Rover that was rusting away. I'd like cut away the leaf springs, and like I was really interested in like swords and like medieval stuff,
Cool.
axes. So I'd be grinding away and making stuff, and I made this like kind of like saber style sword. That's one of the earlier things where I was like, wow, this is cool. You can pretty much make anything you want if you put enough attention to it. And there's been things all along the way, like just I love that feeling of being excited about something, and like can't wait to get up and get on with it and get started.
Do you think you're quite mechanically minded? Like, do you like to understand how things work?
Yeah, definitely. I like understanding like loading of stuff. So like when you're talking about like structures or like bridges or anything like that, and I like understanding like kind of why it has to be like that for it to work. Not like I don't really like electronics or anything like that, but I like structural elements of
how it's built.
Yeah,
because I find that a lot of trades, like me and Dave trades with ourselves, and then I think a lot of the people I meet within the trade, a lot of people are like that. We just early on in our life, we think, I want to know how that works, whether it's a bike or a gearing system or a cog, and you think, like, I want to know why that works and how that works. And I think that's sometimes how people go down that avenue, if you know what I mean. When you went travelling, was there any reason for the travelling, or did you just want to go travelling when you were younger?
I think it was just wanting to see what else is out there, like a bit of exploration and like a bit adventurous. I think, going through school, went to sixth form, and that, probably year 9, 10 onwards, that's when I really started to feel I was like confident in being in school and like, actually, this is what I want to do. And I think I realised that school wasn't really for me. I was doing it, and I got through, and I got decent enough grades, but I was never like university is the next thing. So I think it was only me and 2 others in the year that didn't go to university, at that point of leaving school. And yeah, it was just like, let's see what else is out there. Let's go and explore. So I kind of did, my first thing was I did a ski season in the Alps, just because I wanted to learn how to ski, and I couldn't afford to go skiing really for a week.
Work.
So I was like,
so you work it.
Yeah.
Were you any good?
I picked it up quickly, but I was horrendous for a little while.
I was going to say, was anybody in it? Unless you grow up skiing. If you grow up skiing,
Yeah.
it's so different. If your family goes skiing every year,
I love the
probably
ski trips to school. I used to love it.
Yeah.
Went 3 times to school. It was so good.
Yeah, it's
good
just
fun.
hard to replicate that.
It is. It's really hard. Sorry, go on. Yeah, so you went travelling there and you went, did
just
some work.
did a ski season.
Yeah.
And again, that was probably one of the next amazing things that I felt like was really good for me in kind of my maturing as a person. You're kind of out there on your own. You're self-sufficient. You've got to actually look after yourself.
Definitely.
And I was like, I didn't really get into the party scene, maybe because an element of social anxiety at that point.
Yeah.
But I was there to ski, so I'd ski like every day, all day on my own. I just went out, and that was a part of it. But I learned quickly, and I progressed quite quickly, and suddenly I was like, wow, this is a cool thing. So I ended up doing, 2 other seasons, started snowboarding and spent, moved around I did Courchevel 1 year, and then went to Anton and ended up staying there and kind of, but then that kind of came to a point where I was like, okay, I've done this now. This isn't going to work long term. This has been really fun, but kind of ready for the next challenge. So I ended up moving back to the UK and trained as a rock, like doing like rope access, like rock stabilization. So all the stuff you see on cliff faces, it's just all netted and bolted. So I trained doing that because it was kind of a fun job. I was into rock climbing and stuff. So I was like, I'll just work on the ropes. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Travelled around a bit doing that, worked on Jersey Island, bits around the UK. And then I ended up getting a message whilst I was in Jersey. I'm getting a message from Dan Atherton, who's a professional mountain biker who'd moved to the area. And I was like, why is he messaging me? Like, I'd never met him before.
Okay.
And it turns out he'd been into the bike shop in Aberystwyth, where I worked for quite a while. And
what bike shop is that, sorry?
In Summit Cycles.
Summit.
Oh, got you.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I didn't know you worked there.
Yeah, so I worked there. Well, I started work experience when I was 14 there, and then did it when I could on Saturdays. I was a Saturday boy for a long time during school, and then went full time just after sixth form. So
Cool.
yeah.
So Dan messaged you.
Yeah.
Dan messaged me, and I was like, this is weird. Like, I've got no connection. But I knew he'd moved to the area, and he'd spoken to someone, and they were like, he was looking for a mechanic to travel around with him on the world enduro circuit. And I was like, okay. So I ended up just like flying back, going for an interview, ended up taking the job, moving back, and then we did that for a little bit. He actually ended up getting injured like 6 weeks after I got back, and I was like,
I've kind of come right.
You're still going to pay me.
I kind of left my job for this.
How did that work out there? What happened there?
Luckily, I went back to doing what I was doing
great.
until he was recovered and back racing. So it was a short-term fix, and came back. And then, ended up working as a mechanic for him, traveling around, which is real good fun. Traveling to amazing locations and kind of riding with him and taking all the kit and fixing bikes, basically.
I bet that was quite a cool experience.
Yeah, that was a good, it's an amazing process, really. You're like you're with the rider supporting as much, like carrying lunch bags and kit, but you're riding all the same stuff.
Yeah.
So you're doing big days, and that's probably the fittest I've ever been, was like during that time. You're doing like 60, 70K a day, and, either side of what the athlete wants to do. So it's just general support, which is fun. You get some cool places, rode in Colorado and anywhere around Europe, and
wow,
amazing. So that was fun.
I bet.
Yeah.
So that was what brought me back, actually, was that kind of element of working with Dan on the bikes.
So did you come across saunas in the ski
Yeah.
area? Is that where you first came
That
across
was the
them?
start of it. I'd known about saunas, but that was where I'd really tried saunas in like a cold environment with that contrast therapy and like up in the mountains, fresh air. That was like the start of an interest in saunas.
Yeah.
And I think when I moved back and I moved in with Dan and we were here and we were training in the winter, it was cold and damp and wet a lot of the time. And we used to go to the sauna at Talgarth, in Pennell, just because that was the only place to go. But realistically, it was still 40 minutes drive from where we were.
Yeah, it's quite a long way.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Round trip as well.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
And it worked. Like, it got you hot. But I was like, I had a month or so free time around Christmas time. I was like, right, I'm just going to make a sauna for our house. We lived again off grid. It was real far out in the Derby Forest, but you had a view down the valley. And I was like, I'll build a sauna here, and we could like make use of the view. So I started like researching about traditional saunas and all the different types of ventilation and materials, and like just trying to go at it from like a no compromise approach. Because everything out there, I looked online. I was like, okay, maybe we could buy something, and it was all very cheap, like mass-produced kind of kit saunas, and there was nothing where I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy that because that'll do me. I was like, I could build something way better than this.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the initial spark of like, okay, maybe I'll try and make a sauna, and I made that one, and it worked really well. We used it a hell of a lot, and then we ended up moving house. And ended up making a new one, and I knew we weren't going to be there very long, so I was like, okay, it needs to be able to come with us when we move house. And then one of Rachel's sponsors ended up asking to hire it for an event in Horsey Island in Essex, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll put it on a trailer and took it up there. And then that was actually the start of like getting a lot of feedback, seeing the reaction it had with people that hadn't experienced a sauna like that before. So I think that was really the start of Heartwood Saunas.
And it could be potentially a business as well. Because I guess they're asking to sort of rent it.
Yeah. And but it was never like, there was never a decision like, I'm going to start a business making saunas. It happened like that. And then it just like word of mouth kind of, I think it just started. And before long, I was just spending all my time making saunas for people.
And basically. When was this? What year? That
was 2017, late 2017. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because it says that you started up Heartwood in 2018. Is that right?
Yeah, I think early 2018. Yeah, I had built a sauna that was on the road, late 2017. Yeah.
Was there any reason why you opted to go for the sort of original style of sauna, or like where you have like a log burner essentially, or like I'm guessing all of them are like that, the saunas you build?
Yeah, we do. You get to choose like wood fired or electric heated.
Right. So you do both.
Yeah. So it's a traditional sauna. You always have a heating element of some sort, whether it's wood fired or electric, and then you have a number of stones, and you add the water to the rocks to increase the humidity. The lolu as the sort of finished call it. But yes, it's always a traditional sauna.
Okay. What's the split percentage wise of the people who order from you that have the electric source to the fuel source?
At the moment, we're probably 75% electric over wood fired.
I did not know that. For some reason, I just assumed there was predominantly. Maybe it's because I've been to use that. It's an amazing one as well in Aberpoith. So me and Dave have obviously been down there and utilised that. I'm pretty. You've built that. That's obviously.
It's lovely, that sauna.
Amazing sauna.
First ones.
Was it one of the first ones? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
So that was one of the first ones we built, and we had it at the workshop. That was the original one that went to Atomic Fitness.
Yes, they did tell us actually.
And then we ended up buying it back. Because it was one of the first ones, I was like, right, we'll take that back.
Yeah.
And we ended up refurbing it, and then the boys, Gethin and Yolo were like, we want to do this. So I was like, okay, we've got this. This will be a good start. It's not the long-term solution, but so it's good that they're doing really well.
They're doing really well. It's completely transformed that area, because that was like a really isolated, sort of desolate little part of the prom.
Yeah.
I think there was a couple of skips there for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's like a really vibrant coffee shop. It's a really cool place to hang out, and that sauna is like, it has literally transformed that space. It's brilliant. It's amazing what sauna does. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, totally. It's it's the right location for it. It's amazing. You're sat in that sauna, and like the eye line is like the horizon of the sea, and you can see the castle in one corner. And
I
think it was a blessing that they actually. I think I don't know whether they had to move from Main Beach, but what I'm trying to say is it was the best thing ever that moved from Main Beach, because I really enjoyed it on Main Beach, and it was great.
I didn't see any problem with it at all.
But as soon as it moved down to the new location, I thought, this is better.
Oh yeah, this
is more secluded. I think the view's better from the sauna. It's incredible down there.
It feels like a destination now, whereas previously it looked temporary, and it looked it wasn't even facing at the beach.
No, exactly.
No, exactly. I bet you've installed some saunas in some really nice and really good places.
We've definitely travelled around.
Yeah.
I think the nature of making things in the UK. We're not mass producing; it's pretty small scale, and like trying to build saunas to like the best possible quality in terms of materials or design, the price point ends up really creeping up in terms of what you can make it for. So it ends up being fairly affluent areas that are buying our saunas or ordering our saunas. We do go to all around really. We've got quite a few locally, but a lot on the Welsh borders, Scotland, all down the south coast, around London, and we've got a few abroad. We've got one in Portugal, France, Italy, Switzerland. Got one just gone to the US, which was a bit of a learning curve. But
when I met you first time, you said that that was the first one that was going to the States.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It went well. Yeah, went to Philadelphia. So it was a bit of a test, because I was like, we're not ready to be making saunas all across America. But we had this particular couple who were really keen, and they'd been in touch for a long time, and they're like, I was like, we're happy to do it as long as you know that, you know, it's a learning experience and we'll just see how it goes. We're here to support all the way along the way.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing it, and it worked really well. I mean, it basically, yeah, we fully built it in the workshop, and we built a big crate underneath it, and they lift it onto top of a container ship, and then it's all boxed in. And then so I flew over and met it in the port.
No way.
Cool.
You were there for
and then helped them load onto the lorry, took it to site, installed it, set it all up, and then came back over.
That's awesome. How many people have got working for you now then?
We're 22.
22 now.
And we've got 2 just come back from sabbatical soon. So, yeah.
Are they all carpentry based, or do you have like finance, or do you have
there's
and bits and pieces?
There's a bit of everything really. There's an office team which consists of Cam, who does all the operations and sales, Laurie does all the marketing, Art as an architect does all the design, project management. We've got Kat, who's bookkeeping and accounts. There's me, who does a bit of sales. In the workshop, you've got Robin, who's workshop manager, who kind of runs the show. With Free's help. Free's the supervisor, and then there's a whole range of like level of kind of carpenters throughout the workshop really. So you've got some who've like always done woodwork, got a lot of experience, some formal training, and then you've also got people who are like generally handy at stuff, and can pick anything up, and then you've got people who are more like bay assistants, who are like really kind of starting and kind of can learn the levels and
almost like an apprentice in a way, I suppose.
Yeah,
like learning their craft. Also, how hands-on are you these days? Because obviously you've been running it now since 17, 18, say. Are you hands-on making the saunas anymore? Have you not really got the time to do that anymore?
No, I mean, I like to think that I can step back into the workshop, but the reality is I just don't get time to do it. I have to focus on the things that which can actually create the most value or steer everything. So, I do all the installs, which is hands-on, I guess.
You mean when it goes to the location?
Yeah. So as soon as it's done, I'll be the person that kind of Cam will sort out the logistics, but I'll go with the delivery and meet the client and make sure the day goes okay. And
because you're the face of the Heartwood, aren't you?
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess they're kind of expecting to see you there as well, aren't they?
Yeah, and I've had that first port of call. I'll be the person that picks up the phone. Because at the moment we've had a long lead time for quite a long time. So the saunas that we're installing now, they might have waited 2 years. So I've had that dialogue with them the whole way through.
It's a nice personal touch as well from the company, I think, that you the sort of like essentially go to the site to meet the people, and
that's where you get like the feedback. That's where you get like kind of that detail from the client, which you can never really get off a phone call or like email comms. It's like if you actually sat in the sauna with them and you're talking about like why they're getting a sauna, like what's their inspiration and how they're using it and that sort of thing. That's when you get all the good information.
Good stuff. Going back a little bit, and you said there's a 2-year lead time on these saunas, but how did COVID affect that? One, with sort of your business, and 2, material costs.
Yeah,
because obviously we just said we work in a trade, so we knew what happened to especially timber.
No, it's a really good question. Yeah, it affected us a lot. So I think we were really busy pre-COVID. I think 2019 was a really busy year. COVID happened, and then it changed up a gear. And suddenly it was like I was taking on a lot of orders. I think at that point it was just me and Chris McLean. He helped me a lot in the early days. And we'd taken a lot of orders, and suddenly we're like, okay, our lead time's getting quite extended here. And we have to sort of take people on and train people up. But there's always a bit of a lag. So the lead time kept extending. I think we went up to like, we were 25 months or something. That was the longest time.
Wow.
And that's a long time to wait for anything. Yeah. And we were fortunate to have like, really patient, supportive clients who were really happy to wait. We're bringing that lead time down now. We're about we've halved that, or about 10 months now, which is we're getting in the right.
That's
kind of
really
realm.
good.
That is pretty good
for a bespoke service that you're offering. That's to be expected.
And people are willing still to wait that lead time as well.
Yeah,
shows that there's obviously good quality.
Yeah,
in it. Can I talk a little bit about, I guess, the materials and like sustainability? So like the materials of the saunas, are you able to source any of them locally or any of the timber, etc.?
Yeah, so we've got a really big focus on using like local grown timber. Like that's what I'm really passionate about. Is like how can we add value to the stuff that grows around us here or find a use for it? I think there's a problem in like timber production in the UK where it's like it's treated as pulp, it's grown for pulp, and it's often really low regard in terms of quality. So we've been like really trying to move away from any imported timbers since COVID because of those problems of supply chain costs going like skyrocketing, and I just wanted to kind of like create a business in this area that really does like champion the stuff that we've got around us in terms of material supply. So we're using all like local grown timber. So where you came up to the workshop before, that used to be the sawmill, the local sawmill there, which was supplying us all Douglas fir and cedar, all from around the bike park area. And we're still using a couple of local sawmills, one towards Bala and then one in Bilth. So all the Douglas fir and Welsh cedar comes from like mid Wales in general. All of the internal wood we're using is thermally modified poplar and ash, and that's all within 3 hours of the workshop. All the structural stuff, everything is within 4 hours.
That's
of the
pretty
workshop.
cool, that is, because
it's good.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because obviously, like today's day and age, it's just crazy, isn't it? We fly everything in.
Yeah.
Or it can come in for one country, it can be even packaged in another country, and then like it's just crazy, right?
Yeah.
So to have it all sourced within say 3 hours is pretty amazing.
And we can I can go down to the meat dye on the sawmill, and like we can talk about what grade he's got coming in, and like you can actually you can be way more selective, so you're getting a higher grade, and you can control the waste element as well. There was always a problem like with sauna construction. It was like, these are the two timbers that you use for sauna construction. One of them was Canadian cedar and one of them was aspen or alder. But the problem was Canadian cedar comes from Canada, and the best tree for using it is like old growth cedar. So, you're using trees, amazing timber to use, but you're using trees that are like 300 to 400 years old. And it's very hard to replace that timber. Like, it doesn't grow like that anymore. We haven't got the climate that we did have 300 to 400 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's kind of something that no one really talks about. They just talk about the quality of the timber, which is it's really valid. It's amazing timber, but it's not going to last forever. So that was something where we started off using that, and then I kind of learned more about the back end supply, what it actually means to use this timber, and what does it mean in the local area, and everything in between. And that's what kind of made me change tack. I was like, we need to bring everything to we need to be able to really understand the material we're using in terms of the back end, how it's managed, how it's planted, how it's how it works. Which is not, I think that's not an easy option. Like, the easy option would be just carry on kind of.
So you've got sustainability in the wood that you're selecting for all of your saunas then?
Yeah, I think sustainability is always tricky to define. I think
very much.
Someone asked me the question a while ago, like, what are you trying to sustain? And I was like,
wood?
So we don't run out of it, I think. And it's local.
Next question.
And we've got it.
and that for me has always stuck in my head, because I'm that's a really good question to ask yourself, because I think sustainability can be it's a useful word, but it can often be used as leverage or a tool from a business perspective to look like you're doing a really good thing.
Well, it's a box sticker, isn't it?
Or a box sticker, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, are you sustainable? Yeah, we're really sustainable as a business.
Yeah.
And then you just have like a meeting and you just talk a load of waffle. But
so I think I think that's a really good place to start, is like, what are you trying to sustain? And for us, ultimately we're trying to sustain a business in West Wales, but I want everything that we do as a business to be something that we're proud of, and that will be using suppliers locally, reinforcing the way we grow timber in this country. So there's quite a few things to dig into with sort of sustainability in general, but it's about having low impact for sure, but it's about making the most of what we got, and also making sure there's long-term supply of that and there's not a big impact.
Definitely. Yeah. Has demand grown over the last couple of years in the wellness side of things, and the sauna leads into that? Have you seen that yourself? Yeah, for sure. I think I think it's almost 5 years ago now, there was a study that came out in Finland where they'd done a 20-year-long study with 20,000 people or something, and there was real data as to how good sauna is for you when you use it 1 to 2 times a week versus 4 to 5 times a week. So if you used it 1 to 2 times a week, I think it was 23% improvement in all-cause mortality, and 4 to 5 times a week it went up to 43%, and that was a bit of a game changer for the whole understanding of saunas. Everyone knew they were good for you, and there was the whole family connection piece, and it felt healthy. But there was real data to back up. This is it's not just a nice thing for your mental state. It's physically it's doing something to your body. So that was something that really kick-started the attention into which people focused on saunas. Because I think sauna's been around a long time, and especially in the Nordic regions, it's a massive part of their culture. But the UK's and Western culture is quite far behind that, I think. Quite way behind.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it is growing though, isn't it?
Yeah. Instagram is doing that, I think, though, isn't it? Social media's helping, I think.
Yeah, social media helps. I think just that spread of information, and also at that time cold water swimming was becoming a thing, and people doing cold water exposure in general, and it just naturally pairs up. It makes the cold easier and more enjoyable. It makes the hot easier and more enjoyable.
I'm not going in the sea in January without a sauna.
No.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now. There's no way.
I've got no enjoyment in it.
Yeah.
There's no enjoyment of going in the sea for me and then just putting on, say, like a dry robe and just sit on the beach thinking, man, I need that heat element, you know?
Yeah.
I just need it.
I think the magic is in the combination. It's not one or the other. It's like, if you can do that cycle, however many times or how intense you like it, it's like the cycle is
you get the relief element of it, whether you're going from one to the other or vice versa, you know. So say you're like thinking, I'm going to stay in this sauna now another 1 minute, you know, I'm going to like gut it out. And you think I've got that amazing cool sea to jump into afterwards.
It's good. But it does change my sort of mental state after being in a sauna, but physically as well.
Yeah.
Say like I was saying to you before, if I've been for a run the day before or cycle, I just feel recovered after it. Like I can do something again the next day if I've had a sauna.
Yeah.
So what it does to your muscles, it's obviously the blood flow, everything just feel good after them.
And there's a level of resilience you build in. Like I think we live in an age now where it's actually quite hard. It's quite easy to be comfortable, and it's really easy to steer away from that.
Yeah.
And I think sauna and cold water exposure, it's like you can do that gently, and you can progress and build it up. So you can build resilience, and it's a level of stress for your body, which is a good thing. Like it's good stress, I think.
It's fight or flight, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good to get it.
And it makes you feel alive. Like that's the whole thing. It's like
sets you up for the whole day. If you have an early morning sauna and a swim, and even if you have to go to work and say you don't love your job, it just makes you feel so good for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
We did it in January, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did it in January.
7-degree water, I think it was. Something like that.
Yeah, you're right. It's just you're alive.
And your senses are like heightened. You, like even if you're walking down the beach and barefoot, you can feel everything. You're like super aware. And like I think that's one of the things that I've developed since using sauna regularly is like that self-awareness, like what your body feels like when it's stressed or like after exercise. It's like I've learned how to what my body does in those situations, because I'm way more aware of like sauna highlighting that you're not distracted, you're sat there, you're thinking about things, it's like you're in the moment, and that's something that I think it's taken me a long time to learn, is that kind of like actually what my body needs is this, or I'm feeling like this because, you know.
The other thing as well is I think the sauna is probably one of the only places now socially you can't take your phones.
Yeah, doesn't work.
And that's brilliant.
People still try though, which I can't believe personally. So I feel like isn't that the whole point to not go on your phone?
Yeah.
And I get it. There's some positivity behind the Instagram thing for business particularly, because it does spread the way.
Of course.
People might look at something and go, that looks really nice.
Yeah.
But I just think like the last thing I want to do when I go in a sauna is take my phone in there.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I want to do.
And I think it's important. Like we need those spaces where you can kind of switch off and like not be getting, you know, vibrating messages in your pocket all the time.
Yeah, distraction.
And there's not many places where you can do that. And I think that's a part of the shift we're in at the moment, is like people needing more like time being present, spending time with their family and friends. Like, you know, if I don't really go to the pub much, but I'll get mates around, we'll go around the sauna, and like that's the time, that's the social element.
It is great.
It used to be the pub, isn't it? So like we talk about this sometimes. You say the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and obviously you don't need alcohol to enjoy it. It's just the social element of it. But I think the only social element a lot of males had, particularly say in the 80s and 90s, where they would go and have a pint down the pub. It's nice that in today's day and age now we can do that social element in the sauna. But it's really important, isn't it? Because so many people are just spending more and more time on like digital devices, say in their bedroom when they're young teenagers, etc. So we just need to like converse a little bit, don't we, and just have social interaction.
And like attention span as well. Like, you know, it's very easy when you've got your gadget with you to be like, you're flicking through stuff or stuff comes up, and it's hard to practice like an attention span. Like reading a book is a good example, but like the sauna is also that as well. Like you're in that space, it's quite intense, but you're like, you might be with people or on your own, but it's like a space where you're just focused on yourself or how you feel or whatever.
We're being constantly entertained, aren't we? You talked about it when you were younger, when it's good to be bored, isn't it? Because that's where the creativity comes from. We're being constantly entertained and we're way too comfortable.
Yeah.
Way too comfy.
So
what talking about business again.
Yep.
What's been one of your biggest challenges? Was it through COVID? Was that one of the hardest times, or has there been?
I think there's been challenges all along the way, really. I think the needle just shifts.
Yeah.
The goalposts keep moving.
I guess.
We've had growing pains like any business does. I think there's COVID was a challenging time. Prices skyrocketing, and we were at a time, we were not a big business at all, and like people pay a deposit based on they've ordered this sauna and it costs this much, and then they get in touch 6 months later, or by the time we're building it's 18 months later, and suddenly the materials are actually doubled in cost. So we're like, we have to have that difficult conversation and be like, I know you booked in at this and this is what it's meant to be. This is what's happened across the sauna world and construction in general.
Yeah.
And most people are very, like, they understand it's not a game. It's like, this has just happened.
And it's not your fault.
No.
Exactly. A quote from 2 years ago can't really stand,
exactly.
Can it? With what's happening with, I mean, some places do a quote now and I think it stands for like maybe a month.
Yeah,
because
totally.
because they just don't know.
It was 3 days in Jewson's the other day.
Yeah, 3 days.
3 days. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Not
we
taking
can't
any
go
chances.
to that, mate.
3 days later, 50 quid extra.
Yeah.
But no, it's true.
But it's never a nice conversation. Like, you do your best to like meet expectations from a customer or client point of view, and it's like it's never a nice thing to do. But we had to navigate that and just be as transparent as possible. And everyone was very like they understood. So but it's still that was a tough time, and that was maybe another motivator for changing material supply to homegrowners. Like we had a couple of things where we were actually really relying on them. We didn't have backups, so we had periods where we had 3 saunas in the workshop, which we'd gone as far as we could, and we hadn't had this one component, which was a roof material, because it was stuck in customs, or loads of things like that. So
really frustrating.
Yeah, I think there's things all along the way, but it's been a big challenge every step of the way, but I've quite enjoyed the challenge, I think.
And the new unit.
New units, it's just, I think it's just what we've been well overdue, I'd say.
Yeah.
When we moved into the old workshop, by the end of year 1, I was like, okay, we need to figure out a longer term plan here, because we're taking on more people, we're building bigger
Outgrowing
projects.
It already, yeah.
Yeah, and it just feels like it's well needed, and it's the right foundation for what we need going forward. Like it's good for the team; they've got the right setup. Like it's set up for them to succeed in the workshop. So it's a big step as a business. Like we're taking a risk, but we're taking a bigger risk by not doing it as well. That's the kind of way of looking at it. So,
you sound like a pretty busy guy, to be honest with you. How do you manage to sort of balance your sort of work life with like your family life, etc.? Is it difficult at times to balance?
I definitely have not got the balance. I'm working towards that. I think I find it hard when I've set myself a goal. I'm quite ambitious, and I'm 25% optimistic I've worked out, so I'm always slightly falling short of the goal. So it's very hard. I've definitely set the limit. Like in the last year, I haven't worked any weekends or evenings, but prior to that, there was a lot of 60, 70 hour weeks going in, which is tough.
To try and find the balance a little bit better between the work and the family life.
And there's stages in business as you grow, and there's like small leaps and big leaps, and there's always like, I think the last few times that's happened, it's like, well, now's not the time to chill out.
Yeah,
now's the time to like push forward and like, let's build this thing and let's do it well, and like, so I think I'm quite obsessive as a person. So it kind of, it's not like a dragged thing. It's something that I'm like pursuing, I think.
I think from what you read and what you see, businesses have to put in those hours initially, especially in like self-employment, for example, or your own business, to actually get it to a level where you can take a step back.
Yeah,
in a sense, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
built it up.
Yeah, totally. And I think you've kind of got there's all those intricacies, like you've got to obsess about it to really like read where you want to go and design what you want to do. You've got to obsess about it to like do something really well, I think. Yeah. I don't do stuff like very easily. I'm not very good at like backing off by 20%. So I'm not. I still get to do stuff I enjoy, and I'm at home quite a lot. We've got a young girl; she's 4 years old, Anna. So loving that. But would also like more time with her. But I'd also like to put more time on the projects we're doing. So it's a fine balance, and I'm getting more of a balance now.
Well, that's good.
It is. What do you do you've probably got very little downtime, but what do you like doing in your downtime when you're not working on Heartwood Saunas, etc., Or is it just family life,
Yeah. Now, at the moment, like if I've got a day on the weekend, I completely spend it with Anna. Like that's the first port of call, is like hang out with Anna, do as much stuff as I can with her, like be around for her and be a dad and kind of give her experience. I'd say prior to Anna being born, it would have been like going out mountain biking or anything active, being outdoors, or even just making other stuff, But yeah, very much focused on like trying to spend as much time as I can with Anna when I can.
Nice. It is important. We've got kids ourselves. But you're right, it's hard to sort of get that balance, isn't it? Because you get parent guilt if you don't spend enough time, but then you're thinking, well, I've got to try and do something for the future, and it's...
Yeah, totally.
It is a balance, isn't it? Because you want to provide, and if you've got a passion like you do, you want to go with that passion, and you want to show that your children, that's important to follow a passion and to work hard, and certain ethics to give your sort of family or kids. So it's a tightrope walk, isn't it?
I think it's hard difficult. When you're like, when you're really engaged with what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve, and you're like, this is the path, this is what we need to do. it's hard to switch off when you go home. I find that difficult. It's like, you know, I'm playing with Anna, but I'm still partly thinking about what we're doing now. And so I'm learning how to navigate that, because I want to be really present with my daughter. Like that's like magical. You know, they got nothing to think about apart from what they're doing in their imagination. So
it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where do you see Heartwood Saunas in, let's say, 5 years' time?
Oh, that's a tough question. Can I do 3 years?
Yeah, let's do 3.
Let's do 2 or 3.
Wherever you
5 years is too far.
Okay, 3.
Yeah, good question. I think ultimately it's about being a leader in the space and like kind of making things no compromise and not really thinking about anything else. It's like, how can we design the best saunas? And I don't mean like the best looking saunas. I mean like the best quality build, the nicest to go and spend time, like things that really make a difference to people's lives. You could say we're doing that now to an extent. So that's not really a future thing, but I think we can definitely build on things, and we can improve in loads of areas. So we are going to grow a bit as a business, a bit more. But it's more about. I was chatting to the team the other day. We did like a wider team meeting, and I was like, I want us to be like a small powerhouse business. You know, we're a group of people in West Wales making saunas for all around the world, and like I want to really push the boundary in terms of designing the sauna space, and also like really do encourage like new materials in terms, because that's a big problem in the sauna space. Is it's very 70s 80s. This is what you use, and there's not been a lot of development in terms of modernising that or like upgrading it. And there's loads of options now. It's just like trying to find those industries and support them. So we're doing a load of work with like we're building a sauna at the moment. We're doing like a load of hemp material on the outside. All the thermal modification of wood stuff. Yeah, there's loads of things, but I think we're going to grow a bit more in scale, but it's more about growing internally than externally.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, we've got like a really good team across the board, and everyone's like very engaged and wants to progress and learn. So I think we're just going to build on that, and yeah.
They are incredible saunas.
Yeah.
Incredible. Like the one in Albert, the one where you go in and down on the.
And that was one of your.
That was the early one.
Yeah, no, I know.
Exactly.
So I'd love to see some of
what
the
they're
ones
like now.
you built.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah.
I mean, just scrolling through your Instagram earlier, like it just looks.
There's a lot that's
amazing.
changed. We noticed that when we go back to jobs maybe 3-5 years ago. You're like, we do that slightly differently now. We're like, there's loads of things like that. It's all incremental.
You do need
just evolving,
evolution,
though, isn't it?
Yeah, you need evolution, don't you?
Yeah.
You need to learn. You need to grow. Is there anything exciting on the near horizon, sort of thing, or is it just?
There's loads of exciting things. We've got quite a few. Well, we've got loads of projects on the go. But like next week, actually, we've just finished the sauna and we're delivering it to Val d'Isère, so ski resort, and we're lifting it in with a heli, which is going to be quite interesting.
No way.
So that's the immediate exciting thing.
That's quite cool, there.
Which will be interesting. Yeah. It'll be high stress.
Oh yeah.
Are you in the helicopter?
No.
Okay.
I'll be holding the sauna. We did do one before in Gloucester. It was a year and a half ago, but this will be slightly higher consequence because it's a brand new apartment building, and they want it in this. We've got to thread it through this gap and then place it down on the foundation. So it'll be interesting.
Cool.
So we'll be that's going on a lorry next week, and then I'll be going out to meet it and meet the clients and kind of hopefully facilitate that day correctly. No snow. That's why we're doing it next week, because we've got a bit of a weather window.
Yeah, got it.
Of course.
So that's the immediate kind of thing that's exciting. There's quite a few projects in the pipeline which are like they're going to be quite big design challenges, I think, which is the stuff that I love and I want us to be able to do as a business.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in creating a business which is necessarily just like focused on one thing or production line. I think we need an element of that, but we want to take on bigger bespoke projects and like more complex design challenges. It's kind of the adventure aspect of design, I suppose.
You're going to push your team.
Yeah, I think everyone that works for us is no one's plodding. It's like we're progressive and we want to like make a difference, and I think that's really important for culture. Like I can work in a place where we're just, it's okay.
Sounds like you've got a good team and like a finely oiled machine there to
Great.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I think culturally
cool,
we're really good, and like I'm very grateful for the team. And that's been something like a really big learning over the years as we've grown from just me, then Chris, and then Robin started, and the green and the team from then onwards. It's like you soon realise. Like I used to do everything. You'd wear every hat, but you're spread pretty thinly, so you're never doing everything really well. And then you start taking on people, and you're like, okay, this is your area. You focus on that.
Yeah, of course.
And that's an amazing thing to witness when you can see like everything you were doing, but it's all being done better across the board. So that's been a really cool thing to actually witness from from afar. Looking back, I'm like, yeah, that happened then.
Yeah. Was it hard to let go?
Yeah, it is hard to let go. But I think I'm aware of that needs to happen. So I try and encourage that. Like, team might say differently, but I'll try and delegate as much as possible. But they'll probably say you take on way too much. No, I think because of that, because of seeing examples of that in the early days of like, wow, this is actually, you're doing an amazing job. Like, go with it. That gives you the confidence to be like, right, grow. Let's do this thing. You can take over there. You can take over that area. And I think it's an interesting thing to be involved with. That like a business in the early stages, it's like you do have to do a lot. Even the team we've got in the office now, or Robin in the workshop, like everyone's covering quite a wide range of jobs. And like Laurie, who does the marketing, it's just her. Like, she has to do everything. It's not like she's got a team of people.
Yeah.
So there's a nature of that with any small business, I think. But yeah, I think, I'm fairly comfortable with letting go.
Sounds like a great team.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Happy with
happy.
Let's do it. We're going to go into some quick fires now, Ollie, right?
Yeah.
What's your favourite film?
Oh, films. We didn't have a TV for a long time, so it's quite... I'm kind of out of the loop with...
Okay, fine.
But that's true.
Anything recently that you've seen that you enjoyed?
Favourite films. Okay, right. I must have a favourite film. Pulp Fiction.
Good one.
It's a classic choice. What about music? So it can either be an artist or maybe an album or even a genre.
I still, if I'm on a long drive to a site visit or whatever, a bit of hip hop's good. Biggie Smalls.
90s.
Biggie Smalls.
Yeah. Ready to Die album.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like my favourite hip hop album.
It gets you going.
Oh, it's so good.
But I like loads of different types of music.
Yeah.
I actually love it when someone else uses my Spotify and puts on what they like, because it opens up a whole new...
Broaden your horizons a little. You're like, wow, what?
Yeah.
What is this? Oh, that's actually Venga Boys. Oh, cool.
Yeah. I know what I like, but I don't know what it is that I like.
This is it. Favourite ice cream? I saw you having the ice cream on the weekend, so I thought I'd ask that one.
That was Anna-induced ice cream.
Oh, was it? Okay, fair enough.
Chocolate, straight up.
Straight up,
yeah. Okay. Nice. Favourite cereal? So if you don't eat it anymore, let's go back to when you were a kid.
Yeah, not a traditional cereal, but I've got an early memory. My mum used to make us this rice. It's a homemade thing, so it's rice cake and peanut butter and malt syrup. So like crush it up, heat it up, and then it like goes a bit. It's nice.
No, that sounds good actually.
Rice cake cereal.
Yeah. Perfect.
Sounds really good.
Cool, happy?
Yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah, happy,
Cool.
Ollie?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for coming on.
Good work.
Cheers.
Good, mate.